find, as Ibn Kathir and At-Tabari and others have mentioned, is Azir was the father of Ibrahim alayhi salam, as in the Quran. And he has multiple names, as we've mentioned in the Kutub of Tariq. And he was a priest and a minister of Namrud. So when Ibrahim alayhi salam started to debate, Azir kicked him out. His own father kicked him out. And his society, they banished him. And as he went around, the people everywhere that he went, they would criticize him. And he would debate with them, and he won the debate. As Ibn Kathir and others have mentioned, that the people at that time had 72 statues, idols. 72 idols. And they used to pray to them. And some of them were shaped like stars, or whatever they could imagine the stars in the night to look like. And some of them were in the shape of pious people that they respected. Now this is interesting. Like, when you talk about idol worship, you know, it's not like somebody just gets a rock from you know, like you go to Yosemite and you see like a big rock and you pick it up and you just worship it. Right? If you look at idols, they're always shaped after something. Whether it's after a pious Nabi of Allah like Isa ibn Maryam, right? Or what they imagined him to be if they were European, apparently, right? So, and this is a funny thing, right? You look at Isa ibn Maryam, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam described him as having dark black hair. And it looked wet even when it was dry. And wavy black hair. And this is how Rasulullah sallallahu described Isa ibn Maryam. Light skin, but again, light skin in the context of Arabs. But when you go to a church here, you see a guy, blue hair, blue eyes, blonde hair, hanging, you know. I was in Atlanta, and they had a different Jesus. He had cornrows. I'm not kidding. He was black, he had cornrows and a goatee. I kid you not. I have seen an Asian Jesus in a Chinese church. He was Asian looking, right? Why? Because they're not actually, this is not about Isa ibn Maryam. This is about their imaginary God that they have made up. So when you look at idols, it's not about the rock. It's about the imaginary gods people make up. You go and you see, and this is a famous poem they have in India, written by a Hindu actually, but then he got banished and stuff, where he said, look at this idol that sits in the mandir. You know mandir? The place of worship. I carved him with my own hands. And today people sit and worship him. It's interesting, right? Like it's just a rock. They carve it up into an image of something, and now suddenly it became so powerful, right? So this is a very important point for us to understand, not to fall into the same trick. Some of the people, when you go in the masjid, they'll have big pictures of kings and this and that. And every office you see, mashallah, ulama sitting with big pictures behind them. We have to stop this, because that's how it starts. Right? Pictures of shuyukh hanging on walls and things. Yes, there are some things that are necessary, like passports or IDs, da'wah flyers and things, I understand. But when you don't have that necessity to go overboard. I went to a brother's house, he had a big picture of his sheikh hanging. I told him, what is this? He said, this is how I make dhikr, is by looking at this. You can't make dhikr without looking. This is where shirk begins. Or maybe it's already begun, but right? So this is what they had.